Women and genocide. It's interesting when we talk about genocide and gender, or more specifically women. And the reason for this is because when we talk about genocide, we generally look at a body count in terms of the amount of people who are slaughtered. When it comes to women and genocide, however, we see that there are different aspects to how women are affected in genocide. And more commonly seen, it's the abuse that they do suffer, and especially through rape. A little bit about women suffering abuse. If you look at domestic violence, or national domestic violence, or community, or interpersonal domestic violence on women, basically we look at the worth of women. What value or what worth are women given in those contexts, whether it's interpersonal relationships, or within the workforce, or within a community, or a country at large. To violate that body is to kind of break down the social structure within the community. So we violate women, it's basically we're rearranging the order and the perception of the society in which we live. Once we break that down, it's easy to control the larger population. We strike fear in that community, because those who are holding the community together have now been attacked and really violated. That fear spreads. So who are the targets? If you are a boy of 14 with the AK-47 and a huge gun, you're not going to go up to a man who could possibly have the same weapon as you and kill you. But in order to have that masculine, macho thing that says, I'm a rebel and fear me, you're going to go for a target that trembles and cowers before you. And so you do that perpetration. And if you're going to use child soldiers, then some of the most convenient targets would be women and children in that aspect. We find that women, when their villages are attacked and they have to flee, they are obviously attacked by men, and they're raped and they're abused and things like that. But also when they go into the camps themselves, they are not safe. And so women again are targeted. And men having a high valuable position in societies, when you're in the camps, you have to look at certain cultural aspects. Certain jobs for women, you go out and you get the fuel to cook for, and obviously it's not inside the camp. You have to go to the borders of the unsecured borders of the camp, or outside, and you're prone to attacks as well. Well, while you're in the camp, the worth of the man is still there, and the position of the women that still exists in the camps. So you still have to go out, even though the environment is saying, okay, let's look at the social structure that contributes to the violence, and number one, the convenient target that women have become. Do you alter that? No, it's not altered. What it is that system is still maintained. So yeah, you go out there and you do it, and you're not protected. The other stigma with women being convenient targets in conflict is that I learned while in Sudan, was that words like rape, they're not used because of the stigma that is attached to it. So they say, we were attacked. Well, if I'm an outsider, there are many different variations of attack. What do you mean? Were you beaten? Were you raped? So the language that is surrounding genocide and gender also places women in positions of disadvantage, because what interpretations are you placing on it? How do you value that? Women being targets, that it is quite convenient, number one, when you look at the worth that is placed on women, especially in regions and zones of conflict, and when you look at the cultural dialogue that occurs around women and about women, and also the legal aspects. What's there when you talk about rape as a weapon of war? In the DRC, for instance, a lot of people, we don't know about it, and a lot of people don't talk about it. As mass rapes go on there, and that is also a different form of genocide when you're talking about offspring being born and having the identity of the violators. So these are just some of the things that I wanted to address and to allow you to think about.
I think 2 points. AK spoke this morning about the categorization of people and the labeling of people, and I thought that was highly important. And Anushka made a statement in her presentation that talked about genocide is a process. I think the history that tells us the story of an identity, if you're looking at the Rwandan genocide, makes the dialogue of identity as it is associated with the genocide very important. Number one, because it's either you create a story about who you are and what you are, or someone will create that story for you. And in the creation of the story, whoever created the story or whatever the story is, then it becomes the architecture of genocide. So that is very important, I do believe. As much as we seek to say never again and put an end to genocide, I think when we address how we view the sexes, the gender, that should be a very important dialogue that we need to have prior to us making any effective impact on ending or putting in policies to completely eliminate genocide.